name is DJ Rivers, and I play TK Johnson from the Power Rangers Extended Universe. And you are now watching Action Activate.
Did you think I was going to be doing this? Hi, I'm Gazbot. This is Action Activate, and with me, as always,
it's me. It's the guy. It's the big dog.
Cthulhu. So, we are talking about Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2, Part 2, Episode 19, the fourth to last episode. Oh my gosh, so much must be going on. Or is it filler? Let's find out.
It is called Bad Vibes. And let me tell you from my initial impressions, I had nothing but good vibes with this episode.
I didn't like it as much as the last one, which if you watched our last review, you knew. Again, it's like on the average of Dino Fury episodes, it's definitely on the higher side of it. I think the last episode did a better job of balancing the, for lack of a better term, filler, non-essential plot points with like forwarding the plot. I think this one had a lot more stuff that forwarded the plot, but it was like really segregated, and the stuff that wasn't part of that was like really not part of that, and I really didn't care. Whereas last time I felt like it did a better job balancing.
I felt like, in full transparency, we're going to be jumping around a little bit with this, so if you haven't watched it, stop listening, watch it, and come back.
You shouldn't be watching any of our reviews if you haven't watched the
Some
episode.
people do. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. Do what you want to do.
Well,
but
I also say this. The last episode, I had 2 full pages of notes and a half of another page. This one, I have 1 full page notes. The other one, I kind of doodled on half of it, and then 1 line. So I have less to say about this one than the other.
I have less notes, but I had more feelings. This did 2 things that I love for Power Rangers in general. This did the evil ranger trope, and I would argue the top 5 times we've ever seen it, period.
I don't agree or disagree. I would have to really think about that. It was well done. I'll agree with that, but I'd have to think about it.
There was that, and then the ending of this episode, I was like, wow, that's like a really big problem that they have. Yeah. Like, not a little problem, like a huge problem.
That's like an end of series type problem that we, I agree.
Yeah, so what Gaz and I said before recording this is we both didn't go into the episode, but we said, I want to review these, and I'm excited to review 18 and 19. I can't wait for them to be done so I can watch 20, 21, and 22 and just dive in. We have not.
8 o'clock at night on Thursday the 29th when these episodes became available on Netflix in the US. We've only watched these 2. When we're done here, before posting it even, because I got to edit the other one. Sometimes I can post them straight up. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go downstairs, make a cup of coffee, and watch some episodes of Power Rangers.
I have something, and we haven't discussed this. I have a small, I don't think challenge is the right word, but I have a thing I'm willing to do if you're in. So I plan on watching 20.
You're asking me as opposed to announcing it as something that we're doing.
I know, exactly. We're going to watch 20 and 21 tonight. We've already established that. I think if 21 leaves us on such like a like Beast Morphers did, that we wait and you and I watch 22 together live before we record.
Wait, we watch it live before?
Like we would watch it on like this, but not record an episode. Like you and I would watch it.
Actually enjoy our friendship, not use it as a.
The reason I say that is when we were reviewing Beast Morphers, for a while we did it where you guys just saw our face and us react in real time. Yes. And some people liked it. It seems like most people didn't. So instead of subjecting everybody to that for a review, you and I watch, see our reactions, and then after, when we're hype, we could be like, here are feelings.
To be continued. Because we should talk about this episode right now.
No, we're definitely past this.
Usually we go off the rails in the middle or at the end of the episode. If somebody's never seen this show, they're not even talking about the episode.
Minute 3. So Bad Vibes. We get a lot of things here. We get the evil ranger trope. We finally get a resolution with that stupid drill.
I like how they we knew they wanted the drill. by the way, called it. I'm like, they're going to drill into the base because it's
I thought so as well.
Yeah. Okay. But we found out why the key didn't work because you need a code, and they established that. And there's also a throwaway line that the marshal, that's not easy. The warden said,
Ranger. The park ranger.
I like how I'm like, Marshall, that's wrong. He's a warden. Like, no, he's not.
Of all the prisoners of the town.
He's an Avenger? What is he? Anyway, he made a throwaway line about no harm to the wildlife, which makes sense for who he is in his job, but also the messaging for Power Rangers in general makes sense. Then they go back to the house, and there was tomfoolery of the family variety. Yeah. And going back to what we've been saying the last couple episodes, once again, I feel they got humor correct.
Yeah.
Was it my favorite scene of this? No, but they're talking about karaoke. He picks up the hose. I'm like, here it comes. In an earlier episode with different characters or a different season, that would randomly turn on and he'd go flying through the air and he'd be going, oh, I can't let go for some reason. That's not what happened. The wife goes over and he's singing and his wife goes over and I'm like, what is she going to do to make this go on? Unless she intentionally turns it on, which would be kind of funny and something a wife would do to a husband to kind of mess with him. And that's what she did. I'm like, the best outcome here is that she turns it on to intentionally mess with him. Yep. And she did it. And then he sprays her and he sprays the kids. I'm like, this is a scenario that is real. This has happened for real. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. My first notes for this episode are Big Drill takes code, family meeting after an all-nighter, family karaoke party is today, things will go wrong, hose fight at 8 a.m., I guess.
Yeah.
What are yours verbatim?
Verbatim? Okay. Drill needs key and code. No harm to wildlife. Hose joke, good. Reasonable about new family activity.
There we go. It's almost the same but different.
Yeah. Then we cut to the villain's base and they have a new weapon. I like the design of this weapon. I
do too.
I'm kind of annoyed it got destroyed so quick. Like it was a really cool prop, and it's just gone now. Like,
it grew on me more because the first time I saw it, I'm like, isn't this just the Gigantifier again? And then like, no, it's like an evil MacGuffin ray. I was like, oh, got it. Sorry.
It's called the Sporix Blaster. The interesting thing about this though is they say they powered it from the Sporix generator energy or whatever, and that's what made Tarek turn into the Void King when he was already like trying to be good. And jumping ahead, being that the evil Rangers, it's unclear if it wore off or if their feelings of laughter and
no.
You see,
I didn't think about this until you just brought it up. Oh man,
I mean, that's what turned him evil, and so maybe if somebody loves him enough or makes him get sentimental and have a little clip show in his head, turns back into Tarek.
Yep. So.
And to be clear, I don't have a spoiler about that. I haven't seen the episodes, and I haven't even seen a hint of a spoiler, but that just makes sense to me.
So, along the same line, I don't have any hard spoilers. I have a lot of theories that have been thrown out that I've read that I don't know if are true or false. And once we review these later, I will elaborate more and confirm if things were true or false.
Okay, fair enough.
But the power of love might win again. Who knows?
Might win again. So now they're in Buzz Blast and they're talking about karaoke and like, can we do something else? How about climbing, this and that? And then Jane comes up and she's like, karaoke, that sounds fun. Where's Jayborg? And there was like a benign jump scare where Jayborg's just like standing there and she's like, oh, you're right there. And she's like, meh, meh. I thought that was one of the funniest jokes I've seen.
It was great, and it reminded me of that meme that's been going around forever of The Office where Angela scares Dwight like that. Yeah. And it was the exact same thing. She's like, whoa!
Yes.
I loved it. I loved it
too. And it made me wish that was more of their humor. Where again, they get along, they're friends, but it's just this like Jayborg's just weird because she's a robot. And like
she's like, I'm here for you, Jane. And you're like, yep, you are.
And instead of her like on and like shooting steam or something like that, just make her be a weirdo. That's funny. Like, I really like that joke. Kind of like I was saying last episode was my favorite Ion. This version of Jane and Jayborg has been getting better and better. And this might have been peak Jane and Jayborg for me.
I'm not going to say it's peak, but it is up there. I don't know off the top of my head, but if we went back, there's probably an episode I'm like, this is the dynamic we need all the time. Quit making them be goofy and chase an octopus.
Yes, but okay, there might and the paintball one did have a good dynamic with their friends and stuff. But that joke definitely.
The joke was phenomenal.
And a joke I like better than that one from them.
Speaking of jokes, when they're fighting After this, Wreckmate starts a fight with the Rangers, and there's more puns of like something, walk the plank, and this is what I was talking about, where Zato just full blown goes, I don't know what that means. Ready? Link to more Vigrid.
I loved it. I loved it so much. And I wrote, Zato doesn't get pirate jokes. I love that, even if inconsistent, because I've talked before about how does some monsters know these things, and Zato, but it's like Zato has been somewhat consistent with being like, I don't understand things. But I don't care because it's time to fight. And in that same fight later, he says something else like you make no sense, and he just keeps fighting. Like, I love it. Yeah. I love it. That's Zato.
The fight itself was fine. Nothing great, nothing terrible. It was just another fight.
It was another fight, but again, giving credit to Ion because I piled on him so much earlier. Twice he had like the saving move.
Yeah,
like he got it twice, and then when the evil Rangers come in and they start attacking, he uses his telepathy immediately to discover their, and then
dude. So that's the thing. So they have the fight with Wreckmate.
Sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit.
No, you're fine. Black and green get blasted, and we don't know what's wrong, or they don't know what's wrong, but we know, they're going to be evil. But they don't act like
evil Ray gets destroyed. So it's just the two of them.
Yeah. So we know that they're evil, but they don't do it like as hard as I feel like Power Rangers does sometimes, which is again something I appreciated. It was very subtle. You could be like, they're being kind of weird, but like maybe they're just having an off day. I don't know. It's not like the first one that comes to mind is there was a Mighty Morphin episode. I'm forgetting, but there was like a monkey that like can transform into people, like it would mimic people.
Yeah.
And it was one where he mimicked different Rangers throughout, and it was always like, yeah, maybe we should go and get milkshakes later. And you're like, okay. And like nobody thinks anything of it. And then it's like, I don't remember why, but I always think this. He imitates Zach, and he's like, banana shake. And like
everything stuck do is evil.
Yeah, stuck in my head forever. But like to me, that's what it was. Is like, how do we know who's who? And like, they're evil. And this was like just subtle enough. And the other thing too is
been injured too, so there's deniability there.
Everything about it, it's like, the process, they go back to the base, they're like, hey, you've been hit with this ray, we don't know the deal, why don't we scan you? And then immediately they go, well, that's not going to work, we're just going to jump into it right now. And they fight everybody. And
even before they decided that their cover would be blown or whatever, they didn't unmorph. Everyone else did, and they're like, let's just stay in our powerful forms for a minute because
again, everything about it was perfect. They did that, which was smart. Ion scanned them to figure out what he could find through his telepathy. Found out they were hit with an evil ray. They do things to combat people. Javi uses a power-up key right away to take the sport. Everything is great. And then what do the Rangers do because they can't morph? Let me get my weapon and try to like. It was beautiful. It was one of my favorite scenes.
Immediately blocked their ability to teleport back to the base too.
Yeah, everything about it was just the rant.
Yes.
I literally am at loss for. We're gonna not knowledge zone. I need the one shot right now.
All right, here you go.
I'm in the feels. So many times I haven't got to do this very much this season. So many times it's me doing a one shot, and I'm just so frustrated because of the potential I see in the show. This scene right here is everything I've been ranting and raving about, and it only took them this long to finally just do it and get it done. And I couldn't be happier from all of that I've seen. Even though it was like a minute and a half, it was just beautiful. Do that all the time. That is the bar that I am now putting you toward. This is the love zone. Nothing but good vibes for the episode, bad vibes. Just well done, team. Well done. Loved it.
I agree, but you expressed it much better.
Thank you.
I'll put the negative spin on it of like, in the past, we've talked about this as like, well, there's budget, or why couldn't they do this? Nothing about this was like crazy. We're like, well, they can't do that all the time. It was just like, It was a well thought out scene and people acted the way they should and it made sense. And like, it was like a million other scenes we've seen in terms of cost and setup and time, but just was just well thought out and made sense.
It was perfect. And again, the Rangers are mildly brainwashed, but they're still cognizant. They still have their memories. They still have their personalities. Yeah. And then what do they do after this? They immediately go back to the villains and they're like, here's the deal. Here's how we're going to help you. Here's literally the thing you should have done this whole time and you might have beaten us.
And instead of like grabbing their father and being like, tell us the code, they're like, well, if we tell him we want to see it, he'll just show it. Like they're smart about it, like you said.
And the other thing I loved is even after they got what they wanted, I'm like, are they going to ruin this by just being like, haha, parents, and now we're Power Rangers and we're going to just ruin everything? And
we'll keep them out of the way.
Yeah, they just kept it going, and they're like, hey, we still have to kill time so nobody knows what's up, and the plan can be enacted. I'm like,
it was
what? Good. There was no evil monologue to give everything away and let them solve it?
And they're able to pretend to be their good selves without being like you said, because they're just an evil version of themselves. If you decided you wanted to like rob a bank, you wouldn't be like, you'd act normal, and that's what they do. Like,
dude, just everything about it. I'm like, I can't think of the last time there was a villain scheme like this that happened without some weird MacGuffin happening either for them or against them, where it was like, this thing failed because we gave a monologue, or this thing succeeded because the Rangers, got a new power up out of nowhere and the Morphin Master shot it, and like, whatever. Like, this was just so freaking good, man. The writing was impeccable. Well done.
I agree. Absolutely.
I have right here, here's my exact notes. Bad beam makes them bad, decent fight in the base. Change decent to good. I wrote this mostly because I was watching. Evil Rangers are doing a good job playing the parts. Family Day is the passcode. Which again, I thought that was a cute touch where they're like, oh, you made this very sentimental day for our family, this code. How sweet. And they didn't rub it in his face. They're just like, now I remember. Might be the best Evil Rangers we've ever seen. Big Drill will wreck the Ranger base. Good plan.
Yeah, it could go through solid rock. They kept saying that. Then we see the new villain of the week, Clawfair. I like when he shows up to the drill. Like, who's this? Like, he's the new guy. That's all you need to say. New guys show up and get blown up all the time.
And he's just got his big old parrot claws, and he's like, aha! And I'm in a doctor's coat because...
They don't explain. She says, nice coat, and later on they say you look like a doctor. His name isn't Doctor. The only thing is when he grows big, he shoots stuff that might be like hypodermics, maybe. But, like, his name is Clawfair. Okay, Clawfair? What is that a play on? Like, warfare? Clawfair? You know what he reminded me of? Like, an old... He seemed lazy. He's like a lazy character. Like, well, we'll just put a coat on. But it made me think of like really early Sentai or Kamen Rider, where it's like it was like a doctor in a lab, and like the crab exploded in his face. He's like, no, now I'm just this guy. Like, they just put gloves in it.
Like, what is that? Oh, Spider-Man! You have to fight the parrot doctor.
And he's not really much of a character, and this guy wasn't either. He just didn't do much. Yeah, he's just a
big
weird
old
looking dude. That being said, I would absolutely love a Lightning Collection figure of this weird Dr. Claw man.
Yeah, I don't think we didn't talk about the
voice too. Actually, the last villain too, the last monster of the week, they both had voices that were different than the standard voices you hear a lot.
Yeah. We didn't talk in the last episode about how that villain looked. I thought the villain looked cool. I was more just taken aback by the whole plot of him just throwing desserts at everybody, and that was kind of his power.
I think if I saw him standing there in the suit, I wouldn't think much of it. I think, the power and the way he fought is what made him interesting. This guy is the opposite. He wasn't interesting at all, but he looks, he kind of reminds me of like a newer Ultraman villain too. Like, where it's just like, I'm a businessman, but I'm an evil alien, or like,
like it's a thing. Like, I have integrated into society. I am aware that I am from another planet.
Yes. Yeah. And I am working as a technician. Okay. I'm also embezzling, like
it could be like a mole for SPD.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He does seem like an SPD character. Good call. No, you don't get a Ninja Steel for that.
I definitely do.
No, you definitely don't.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
I will say this is the part, like you were saying about maybe he's a doctor, maybe he's not a doctor. They did a lot of doctor puns that were kind of weird, but I kind of just looked past them because of everything else I liked.
Yeah, and I think they were. We don't know what the Sentai character was, but I think they had to acknowledge he had a doctor lab coat looking thing. So, like, without making his character be that, they're like, well, you look like this. We're gonna make jokes about it. So there you go. I wrote DJ Borg. I guess there was a scene where it's like, hey, DJ Borg is
one of the best. It's one of those things. That's for when they go back to Buzz Blast. There's a big karaoke party. After they get the drill code, they're like, hey, we should do karaoke. Oh, I'm so glad you guys wanted to do it. Let's go. And that's the Evil Rangers killing time. At first, when I heard DJ Borg, I'm like, that's kind of dumb. And then I was like, wait a minute. That is one of the smartest puns you guys have ever done.
Yes, that's why I didn't write anything. I just wrote DJ Board.
Yeah,
yeah, that was good. And then after they set that up, Null Eye is fighting, and Zato goes to use the Dino Night Key, and he's like, "Dino Night Key, activate," or whatever he says. And then Null Eye, in a very Slither-like way, he's like, "Sword, stabby," and he throws it and knocks the key. Again, the kind of stuff.
loved it.
Yeah, just something different. Just something different. It wasn't the key, and the auto went like that. And that's what we've been seeing a lot in these quote unquote filler episodes towards the end here, which, and I can't really call it filler, but you know what I mean? Like the scenes which are so repetitive and so everything you've seen, just make them a little different. That's all it takes. And it's like, oh, something different happened. I loved it. You know, like
I don't know who wrote this, but like I loved it.
It was a writing team. It was a man and a woman. I remember that.
I don't know who wrote it, but I loved it.
Yeah. And then, but then the funny thing is he didn't do Dino Night. He's like, all right, well, I guess I'll pull out the sword and do Dino Master mode, which is stronger. But of course, no, I didn't know that. But so I wrote DM mode, and then I wrote DM, like Dungeon Master. And I'm like, he looks like a wizard. DM mode. Oh, he's a wizard. Now I like it better.
I said that. I was like, maybe this is from like a Kamen Rider crossover or something.
It's been confirmed that it is just a Ryu Soldier thing. But just the fact that DM, Dungeon Master, I could see someone. Well, here's the thing. I still think it looked goofy in the show. But now I picture Zato or whoever sitting down in the basement with the other Rangers like, okay, you enter a cavern and there's 3 cave trolls. But, you know, that's what I'm picturing.
I can. One thing we haven't seen too much in this season, I just realized, is them morphed without their helmets on. That would be a cool one where, for whatever reason, he's morphed. Yeah. He does that, and they're like, "Why are you in Dino Master mode?" It's like, shh, there's a troll, and he's coming. One thing, they go back to Buzz Blast. Oh no! Before they go to Buzz Blast,
they defeat Dr. Claw or Claw Fair. And there's go ahead.
We're going to say the same thing. They knock him into a building for like the final strike. And then what does he do? He grows large, destroying this building.
Better than last time. Last time, like, that was cool. I'm like, this was better. They topped it.
It was awesome.
It was great. It was great.
Do that more.
Yes. Yeah, just kind of unexpected, like you're getting like flying through a building. You know what? I'm going to be big now.
Because the outcome is going to be the same. We know they're going to beat him, whatever. But with this, it makes it feel like there are higher stakes. Oh, there's destruction here.
Yeah, and agree, because the building, absolutely. Also, another like not a good joke, but I appreciate that it came out a different side. He says when he's getting angry, he's like the doctor is, and because the doctor is in, which is a weird thing. Like it's one of those jokes that like the record scratch noise, which is still around, but like nobody has used records in decades, but it's just that joke now. And there's this thing, the doctor is in, which I've heard as a joke forever. Never seen a sign that said, like, I guess that's something that happened at one point in the past, you know, but the doctor is and I thought he was going to say sane, because that's always the joke. But he went, the doctor is enraged. And it's not enraged, it's enraged. But it was like a slant rhyme joke. Not a great joke, but the fact that it wasn't the one they always do, I'm like, thumbs up.
Well done.
You tried a little bit there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have too many notes left, but one thing I've been saying, especially this second half of season 2, I'm assuming all of the songs they sing or do are all original, and they're all good. Like, I'm not going to bump all these songs all the time, but like so many times, in those who have watched Power Ranger seasons that Gazbot hasn't seen, know that like sometimes when they Mystic Force has terrible music, but like I just appreciated it. It was fine to listen to. It didn't seem like slapped together just for this episode. It seemed like it was reasonably thought out, and it was fine to listen to, and it didn't hurt my ears and take me out of the show. I
agree with that for all the music, some better than others. Going back to my saying there was like a little bit of a hard line, weird imbalance. The karaoke stuff was too much and too long. I'm with you on like, oh, they did a good job infiltrating, but they sang like a whole song, and like nobody else got up, and it wasn't a joke. It was just sentimental and stuff. And then immediately after, they get up and do another one, like monopolize karaoke much. What the heck?
I was thinking that one thing budget-wise and story-wise I think could have been cool is if they didn't do both songs in karaoke, but did a transition scene of them all driving as a family, like reminiscing, saying good stuff. And it's the evil Rangers trying to be evil, but it's like, oh man, remember this other family thing we did a couple years ago and I pushed you into the lake? Wasn't that fun? And they're like, haha. And then they look and like, am I supposed to be having, like, you get that seed planted. So the power of love breaking this evil spell isn't so abrupt.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And like, arguably that could have started with the Family Fun Day code, but there weren't enough moments in there. I agree. But I did write, I don't know if I wrote this, but when they were doing like the karaoke, I thought that like the Family Fun Day karaoke is like, yeah, you go do, I mean, I've done karaoke, you go do karaoke. Maybe you have a song you do once in a while that you're a little bit better at. But it was like, they had like choreography and it was just like, this is what you do every year. Like, but also I was like, are they still evil? Because they're like, yeah, like that's amazing if they're still evil. Like, what is happening here? But it went too long. It wasn't the worst thing ever, no. But it was weird because like this episode was going so hard the other way, and then it's like, here's a long, kind of boring karaoke scene.
Yeah.
But in between that, they had the Megazord fight, which again wasn't super interesting. But here's what I wrote for that. Primal Ultrazord for this chump. He did nothing. He was like one hit. He shows up. He's like, man, like Primal Ultrazord immediately. It's like you really only need one Zord to beat this guy, and they beat him immediately. But it was like, as much as I thought he was funny and would like a figure of him because he's weird looking, he was like the weakest villain they've had.
I have 2 notes from both scenes that you talked about.
Yeah,
the power of love broke the spell via montages.
Yep.
The voice of this monster sounds like a bit character from Seinfeld.
I can see that. Like I said, I do. I can see that, and I do like. And he did have a good joke because like the one move he got in before he was destroyed, and then the Ultrazord like was right up in his face, like Ultrazord breath, which is again, it's dumb. It makes no sense. It doesn't breathe. But like I was like, that makes this character a little more interesting. That's about to get destroyed. You know? Like,
yeah.
Good
last words. And we win. Dino Fury win, or whatever they say.
Monster extinct? No, I don't know. Do they have a catchphrase for when they beat him in this show?
I don't think so.
Sporix expelled. No. When Izzy and Javi are becoming good through the power of love, they see little like energies coming off them, and one of them's like, "Do you see this?" And like, "Yeah, how could I not see this?" They're in a room full of people. It's not even.
I thought the same thing.
How if they make, because if it was like no, or like only they could, like, it's like, yeah, I guess you could headcanon that because they're Rangers they could sense it, or because they're evil they could sense it, or like there's some reason.
No, it's a plot hole. That is a plot hole.
That like even if they did go, oh, you're Rangers, they'd be like, why are you guys glowing? What's up with that? You know, but whatever.
It is a plot hole. I like how they don't have any memory after.
Me too, because then they couldn't warn everybody about the plan that was about to happen or whatever.
Because that is one thing, and depending on the circumstance, you could argue it's needed or not. But one thing that is very like ex machina MacGuffin-y is, oh, now that I'm back to my senses, I was at their base and I know exactly where it is, and their whole plan's this.
Actually, Ollie was evil recently, and that's
from Zed, I think.
Zed, and that's what he said. He's like, "Oh, I know what he's gonna do," and it didn't. Yeah, and it wasn't terrible or anything. But that is what we usually see. Sorry for that earthquake. So now we're at the end when the drill actually goes into the base, and I like that Zolan was doing a crossword. He's like, oh, this crossword is difficult. The drill comes in, and I kind of expected this. You know, the drill's, oh, here it comes, and I was like, okay, this is bad, but I knew this was coming. Then. I don't remember if it was Void King, but a blast.
Void King.
And it hit
Solon.
I know it's Solon, but it's like a tongue twister for me for some reason. It hits Solon, and she flies and like screeches to a stop. And like, I think of her as like an old woman. You know what I mean? I don't know, but like she's like creaky and like I audibly gasped. I went, oh, Solon! Yeah. Like I couldn't believe how hard. Like I was like, well, they're coming in, but I didn't expect that from her to her for some reason. And it really I gasped.
Yeah, this last minute of the episode of the second the drill busts through, after this, I was like, because I watched this last night before bed, I was like, I gotta wait. I
watched it like 2 hours ago, so I had to wait not nearly as long.
Well, that was the thing and again, for me, part of the fun is you and I getting to talk with the exact same amount of information.
Agreed.
But I seriously thought, I was like, do I make another list of notes here and just keep going or what? It was solid though.
Yeah. But definitely excited. And that comes back to like, wanted to go through these. These were good episodes. Well, and this comes back to something that we touched on a little bit, like with spoilers and the weird way these things come out and the weird way certain people choose to use that information. I enjoy this. I enjoyed Power Rangers, and I enjoyed this show that we do.
Yep.
I don't enjoy the way Beast Morphers and this season have sort of, the ending's been ruined for me. And I don't even just mean with spoilers, but I mean, and there's this mad dash to try to find a bootleg version to watch it as fast as I can before somebody spoils. It's like, I'm not even able to really just watch the episode and enjoy the episode. I'm like, I gotta hurry because there's like 4 more that I gotta watch before tomorrow. Like, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling of just not being able to just enjoy it. And
yeah.
I don't know what to do about it. I hope it doesn't happen with Cosmic Fury, but it's such a bummer. Like this is a show I enjoy that I watch, and a show I do with you that I enjoy. And at the part where I should be enjoying it the most is the most stressful and the least I'm able to just enjoy it. And I'm sure other people feel the same way. People that have review shows like us and people that don't. Like, it's just this mad dash. And it's not the same as like, oh, I'm excited to see it. I can't wait. I got to get those episodes. Like that, I understand. And there's a little bit of that, but that's not what this feeling is.
It is compounded where, you know, we go through our normal channels because we try really hard to stay connected with not only people in the comments, but, you know, reposting other people on Twitter, posting our own stuff on social media, things like that. And it does suck when you scroll through because you're in Power Ranger stuff and you're like, somebody goes, look at this thing that's not released for 3 more months that's going to be in the new season. You're like, that would have been awesome to see live and like be surprised by it.
Yeah, and that's been going on forever, but a lot of it was conjecture. But in the last few days, when the foreign language episodes got released, it got worse with these specific episodes. And now that they're on Netflix America, there are some people who are like, well, it's not even a spoiler. It's like, well, but it is. If it came out today, not everyone's going to watch 5 episodes the day it comes out. Like,
we had 5 episodes to watch. Everybody else had 12.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to get on too much of a rant. My point isn't to shame people or like whatever, but it just it's a bummer in the middle of what should be the funnest part of this. It's sort of like, it's kind of stressful to
me. And this is my, you know, broad ask of the Ranger community. If you want to talk about stuff, there's plenty of avenues to do it without ruining it for those that aren't ready for it. Like with us, we reviewed some of these episodes before they released on Netflix in the US, but we didn't put anything in the thumbnails that are like, guess what happened? Oh my gosh, Zed's back down on Master Mode. Like, it was like,
and we would definitely get more views if we did.
Exactly. But again, I would rather enjoy it the way we want to enjoy it from behind the scenes and as a fan than try to do kind of that clickbaity thing just for the sake of doing it. And then, you know, potentially sour people's, you know, view of Rangers and shows like this. So that's it. A lot of love this episode. This is a firm A for me.
I got, if I gave the last one a B+, I'm giving this one a B+. Okay. Because I kind of like the other one better, even though this one had more, but like there was like, for different reasons, I give them the same thing. Addressing what you said at the beginning of the show about holding off on the final episode and watching it just together and having fun and all that stuff. This ties directly into what we were just talking about. That sounds great, buddy. I'd love to have just like friendship with you. But tomorrow is Hasbro PulseCon. You think in the Power Rangers panel, there aren't going to be people spamming the comment section? You don't think everywhere around that it's going to be spoiler city? They may even be doing spoilers through Hasbro. Who knows? I think if we don't watch it tonight, it's going to be spoiled tomorrow. That's what I think. Tomorrow, it's going to get spoiled, but tomorrow is the day where we can't avoid being online if we're going to get online for that panel and then stream it. There's no way.
If for some reason your situation with your responsibilities gives you a window before that live stream, we can do it then. Oh, no, you're still going to watch it tonight. Never mind. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what? I mean, if you want to do it like in an hour and a half from now, what do you mean?
No. I was thinking... No, it would be us waiting either way, but we would
also,
it doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense.
We can't watch it in this venue either because I can't share Netflix through StreamYard.
You're right. But we can talk offline.
Yeah.
This episode was great. I loved it.
Giveaway is still happening. We hit 200 subscribers. In one of the short videos I showed with the new prizes, which is a vinyl Sufubi of Cruz in addition to the other prizes. What?
Cheetah Nick,
yeah. And we will be doing a drawing for that. I haven't had a chance to do it, but somebody's winning one of those 3 things already. If we hit 250 before then, I'll be introducing a new prize, and you'll be eligible for that one. And then at 300, we're going to do another drawing. At 300, we're going to decide if we keep going. I had sort of said we'll go on forever. I've had mixed results with how much people are into these giveaways. So we're going to do a new announcement. We're going to do a giveaway at 200 that I owe you. Then at 250, another announcement. And then at 300, another announcement of a prize and a giveaway. And then either we're going to keep going or stop. And if we do stop, whoever wins gets everything we've announced so far at that point.
Wow, that is news to me.
If we stop, we'll stop with a bang. But until then, I've been Gazbot.
Still the big dog, and see you guys tomorrow to the power.
End credits.
Since most people don't listen to the credits anyway, are you going to bed at a reasonable hour this evening?
I mean, it depends on what a reasonable hour is. My original plan was to watch all 3 episodes. You were like, well, don't watch the last one. So I'm like, I like the idea of waiting and enjoying it together. I really do. But I'm certain if we wait, it will be spoiled. I'm certain of it. It's going to the Hasbro Power Rangers panel and broadcasting live. Like, there's no way it won't be spoiled intentionally or otherwise.
If you're staying up late this evening, I'm down to watch 1 or multiple episodes with you.
I don't know how we would do that because I can't do it via this setup.
You could do it on Discord.
Maybe. I also don't want to be sitting at this computer anymore is the other thing. Let's talk about it offline. Tune in next time to find out the drama of how we decided to watch.
See how we watched the final episodes of Dino Fury, which leads into Cosmic